How you doing? www.andrewmarkmusic.com on the false gambit of the Academies. In the past year or two, there's just been endless uproar about cultural Marxism and postmodernism and how, those two particular, ideas are destroying civilization. Well, maybe Western civilization. And I'm going to argue that that's, a kind of it's obscuring the truth, and who's doing it and why. Well, it's the neoliberal corporate state that took over academia that's doing this. And they don't want anybody talking about neoliberal corporate university, and what happened under neoliberalism in the last 50, 60 years to the universities. And that is they all got privatized by corporations. They're all funded by corporations. It's all corporate agenda. They debt slave people for life now to get an education. What should have been trust lands became privatized and bought by billionaires. So this is the real issue with academia. Now, before I get into that a little bit more, I'm gonna have to go into the gambit. So postmodernism. Okay, most of what the postmodernists came to understand is basically true. I mean, it was a literary field. It was an architectural field. Their insights were valid. Now, you get into one particular idea where, there's this claim that all truths are relative, and anybody with half a brain knows that's not true. That's a contradiction. As soon as you say that there's no such thing as relative truth, you've made a universal claim. So it's invalid. So, okay. But that doesn't, take away from all the other truths of postmodern insight. So blaming what's going on in universities and society on and postmodernism is just, it's disingenuous, duplicitous. And so the other thing is cultural Marxism. Now, this is more true than, the claims of postmodernism being the devil. Okay, so you had all these Jewish thinkers coming out of, World War II Germany into the Western academies in North America, and they formed the Frankfurt School. It was Adorno and all these people, and basically what they did by that time is they looked at Marxist thought and said, we'll just get rid of the good parts, and we'll teach, social Marxism. So we're just basically going to teach a certain aspect, or they kind of rewrote Marx. No matter how you look at it, that's what they did. And the end result is true. What happened there? You have this, political correctness, a focus on identity and things like that. And I would agree that is not good. That's not a good thing what they did. So I think there's one other aspect to that, and that's what happened with the Fabian Society and how they manipulated culture in another way, but I won't get into that here. That had to do with wiping out Christian morality so that they could usher in what I call an amoral culture. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by it is just a culture where money is primary, profit is primary, and there should be no moral considerations when it comes to earning profit and money. Anything goes. And that's basically what's happened. So, yes, they put people in jail for it, but basically they do that so these billionaires can have free labor. So, it's a false morality. These are terrible people that we have to put them in prison for their immorality. Yes, okay. So anyway, those are the two gambits. one of them more appropriate as far as, this critique than the other. Now, why did this explode on campus in the last 2 years? Well, we know why, okay? For 100 years, universities couldn't figure out that fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme. Ooh, these are brilliant scholars in these 100 years of Western academies, and they couldn't figure that out. Okay, so okay, that's why they've obscured it. So they don't want to deal with the fact that they have given a free pass to a global crime. And then, when in the latter half of the last century, fiat currency economics got totally, implemented and joined with the Chicago School neoliberal, the privatization of everything ethos. And what they did to universities is, and this is what they're trying to obscure, is they privatized them all. Now they're just run for corporate profit. It's not about really, bettering civilization or, having a culture of learning and philosophy and things like that. It's just about money. It's about power. It's about the concentration of wealth and the wealth inequality that has come out of the corporatization of the academies. And this is, in a nutshell, why the big brouhaha over on the left, so that nobody will talk about what's really going on, and that's this right-wing thinking coming in. And now, okay, what should have happened with universities? Universities, the land should be on public trusts. Okay, so it should not be private. This is called the commons. Now, in the town I live in that was taken over by the CIA, they have the audacity to put on their private university the global commons, right? It's they have no shame. So that's first and foremost. The academy should be on private. Excuse me. No, that wasn't Freudian. They should be on public trusts. Okay. Now the second thing is, and it goes to the first issue of the problem, and that's the Ponzi scheme of fiat currency, is that education should be funded through public utility currency. It should be funded through public banking, a social credit, some kind of non-debt or very low debt currency, and it basically should be free. Or so minimum to go, especially into higher education, that it's close enough for free. And in my opinion, what should be taught there is something completely different than what's being taught now. So in my opinion, that the whole university system should be reworked for one thing, and that's ecological sustainability and a re-education about the money system and economy and how to have one that's sane and sustainable and that doesn't load the dice in favor of a corrupt group of people. Anyway, that's what's really going on in universities. If you want my opinion, do what you want, but what are you getting out of it? And going into the future, are those degrees, they're already becoming worthless, and all you're getting is a lifetime of debt slave to work at Starbucks. So anyway, www.andrewmarkmusic.com on the Gambit of the Academies. Nice try, guys, girls. Epic fail. Peace. Peace out. Peace the fuck out.